Today, I'm just going to quickly kind of go over, what was our need for change? What were all of our fears in changing? We were personally, we were with Point of Rental for about like 13 years. So clearly we had been a little afraid of it a little bit. And then next, why TapGoods? If you were going to switch, why do we, choose TapGoods? And then since the switch, I'm sure that's what everybody's eager to hear about, how's it gone? So let's just kind of jump right in. So, it's 2021. Things should be very easy. Personally, I feel like everything that we can do, it's on our phones. There's Zoom. We're all meeting here digitally. Everything, it should just work, And so, again, when I was talking about that audit, we looked at all the ways and all the things that we thought we could be better at as a company. And so, our website was one. The way that our customers interact with our business. The way that just everything about how you put orders together, how the items look. We want everything to look a little more like Amazon, So next thing that we wanted to improve was our inventory management. Again, we were with Point of Rental. It's robust enough over there, but it didn't do all the things we were finding. We were doing more things outside of the software with our communication because their software couldn't handle it. Next was a little bit into workflow and interdepartmental strategies and synergies. Definitely seeing, saving time and just, making the best of what we can do. And so overall, we kind of through the audit figured out we just needed a better solution all around the circle, And again, we were with Point of Rental, and it got us to a certain point in our company's journey, but it was time to move on, and it was time to just take bigger goals and bigger steps. So first up, website. Again, we wanted to redesign our whole entire customer experience to an all-in-one solution. Everybody knows how to use Amazon these days. My grandma sent me a Prime Day gift. Okay, that I don't know what other time in history that would have ever been possible. But since the pandemic, everybody's so keen to it. And right there on the screen, you can see in the top right, there's a customer portal. You can sign in. You have a cart. And so, we want all of those things that are on the screen. If we have our customers come there, we want them to be able to browse our whole inventory, submit a quote, pay a deposit. If we want our customers to pay at Point of Rental, it's another module, and then you have to pay for it. And then if you want them to sign, it's another thing. So this is kind of an all-in-one solution. And even then, there's messaging inside of TapGoods that customers can message with the sales rep and make changes. We found out it's exactly what we were looking for, and it's almost just as robust as that Amazon system, but I think a little more personal, because you get to have that messaging and that personal touch between your customers and your sales staff. And this isn't even without picking up a phone. So again, saving time just by having a better website. Okay. Next thing that we were kind of really wanting to redesign and go over was inventory management. If we can go to the next slide. So we really needed a platform and a UI experience that will allow our staff to interact with each other and just have a smarter back-end brain to our inventory. Here at Party Pro, we have, let me see, I think we have just over 600,000 individual pieces of linen. And that is across just over 500 different types of linens. And so, that's just one sector. We have tents, we have it all. And so, the inventory management with us, it can be a huge, huge time waster. And so, inside TapGoods, there's, powerful inventory management tools with all these great smart functions. There's these ability to cross-reference one another. There's bundles inside bundles. That's something huge that just came out. And so for us, when we rent every single type of tent, we have event like furniture that we can do in bars, and then commercial like HVAC units that we and they're all easily managed, rented, and even going into repairs. If you flag something for repair in the back end of the inventory management for TapGoods, it goes throughout the whole entire system, you know, and in point of rental, you'd have to click in 8 different spots if something went out of inventory. And it was such a time waster for us. Okay. And then, you know, on the bottom, yeah, I'm in, again, director of creative development. You know, and for me, that is a lot of marketing. And so the quick toggles for like website visibility or the text areas in every item for SEO management and Google AdWords, that's just huge and absolutely paramount to us. You know, in rental, about 50% of your cost is with, you know, work and all the warehouse workers. So how can your inventory management work for you? You know, how can your workers do more per day based off of the software that you're using? And so that's something we've already experienced. And, you know, Aaron talked about at the beginning, we're running about half the staff that we were in 2019, but we're already back to 2019 numbers. So, you know, man, it's kind of, hindsight's kind of 2020, right? Like, what if we could have done more with less back then? But we're here now. It's 2021. We have a more robust system, and we took about, without getting into real numbers, we took about a 60% dip in the pandemic. We had some layoffs. I'm sure a lot of you guys have gone through the same stuff. But since then, our revenues and our sales have returned back to 2019 numbers, but we're only hiring and we only have about half the staff. And so we're able to achieve more. And we didn't know that all of these things, you know, were tied to a back-end software. It's pretty remarkable. And so next, you know, this is really something that speaks to me. Marketing for me and marketing in the party rental business is something that has a lot of work yet to do. You know, I think a lot of other industries, they've kind of figured this out. And yes, this is event rental, so, you know, everybody needs a toothbrush. And so marketing for, you know, a toothbrush is a little easier. I get it. But yeah, it just, everything is so easy with TapGoods. I mean, seriously, it's as easy as 1, 2, and 3. Actually, on that last slide, I read our HVAC. I have to share a little story. So this last August, we bought in some HVAC units. Actually, yeah, we can go back to the marketing page. So just reading that and then reading all these, I'm kind of getting like a PTSD feeling from point of rental. So think through this, okay? So we bought new HVAC units. We figured this winter is going to be pretty harsh in Tulsa, and so great time to buy. And with point of rental, I would have had to this is again to promo it, right? If you buy new inventory, the next thing you want to do is promote it, market it, rent it. And so in point of rental, I would have had to have made the entire web page and then emailed it over to a company that they use, not even point of rental, a company that they use called Rental Hosting. And then they would, you know, approve or deny the new ad. And then for maybe 2 days later, it might show up if they're, you know, really quick about it. It never happened. But with TapGoods, it's so easy. So I literally made some last week. I uploaded the inventory. Inventory, again, took about half as much time as in point of rental. And then from there, there's this get the look page, and there's all these ways to highlight on your website that I can do. I can change all that stuff. And the back end UI is a lot like like Squarespace, where there's these modules, you can put it in, everything's really easy. And I made a new HVAC ad, basically. It was in our home scroll, and people could just see it. They could click right there. It went right to the inventory. And I just thought about, you know, doing that in point of rental not only would have taken 2 weeks, it would have taken probably 10 more hours of my workday, you know, and, you know, across 10 hours across 2 weeks, that's a pretty sizable amount of time. I could have been doing anything else, you know? And so again, this is another way in which we didn't even know that our old software was holding us back. And again, it wasn't detrimental per se. It was just not letting us grow to our full potential. And so again, there's multiple themes for the website. You can change them every day if you want. There's back-end Google SEO tools. And for us, we have a pretty robust Google AdWords program. And so everything is just synergized now. Before, I was trying to take all these, a square peg, round hole, and I was trying to make POR fit into what we're doing. And now there aren't even shapes. They just kind of synergize together. So I really wanted to touch on that. Yeah, that HVAC thing really sparked that in my brain. So next, I know I've been talking a lot about time wasters. So next we have workflow up. And, TapGoods to me is just designed with the modern user in mind, And so every order, you can even see here, this is from an actual order that we created. Annie Brady is one of our premier planners in Tulsa. Actually, I should say this area of the country. She's kind of a destination planner too. Anyway, she had an order with us, and this is how every single department in our company can see it. And so, say this order, for November 27th, let's say it's the 26th, and my dispatch guys are very concerned because nothing's been prepped, nothing, and everybody can look at this and see it's in quote status, right? We don't have to make, dispatch doesn't have to call up to sales doesn't have to call down to the linen department. Everybody can just kind of see where it is. So again, I can't stress to you enough how much we didn't realize how much time we were wasting. Okay, a great quote that actually the CEO said to me, he texted this to me. He said, we all have cell phones with far advanced technology compared to when these other legacy systems were designed. How many people have to feel like using point of rental is like using Windows 95? And I think that's probably one of the better analogies that I can put it into. Windows 95, can you go on Amazon on Windows 95 and buy stuff? Maybe, probably, but is it going to take probably twice as long as if you just used a modern device today? And so it's kind of one of those things, all the ways that TapGoods can work for you, not even TapGoods, all the ways that your software can work for your business. I think that's what you really need to keep in mind. And for us, we were on point of rental for 13 years. We didn't reevaluate for over a decade. And I just, that can't happen again with us. And so again, I can't speak enough to how much time we save with the workflow and all the inventory management. So let's just go into this kind of price deep dive. I've already talked about this a little bit, but seriously, every module that we ever had, every cool thing that we could do with point of rental, it's cool because it costs money. Seriously, we wanted our customers to be able to sign our rental contracts online instead of going old school, printing it out, signing it, faxing it in. When's the last time you guys sent a fax? So anyway, that it's like $100 a month to add that module. Do you want GPS integrated with your routing? Pay for an extra module. I've already gone over this, but yeah, add a page to your website, pay $100. And it's not even there that day. It might take weeks, With TapGoods, literally everything I've described today, it's in there. I can click around, you can do it. And not even to mention support, which I haven't put on there. TapGoods support, it's so robust, and with point of rental, if you don't do the paid plan, which it's a quarterly plan, I think if I could last remember, I think it was $750 or $1,000, maybe $1,200 a quarter, depending on your tier for support. And if not, you had to pay $115 a phone call to get support with point of rental. And so again, you're going to save money because you're going to save time. You're going to save money because look at all these modules that you can't do. And we've already gone over it. TapGoods, you can sign, there's already the routing, everything it's great. So probably the thing that you guys are the most eager to hear about is since the switch, as mentioned before, we've returned to 2019 sales targets in 2021, even though we have about half our staff. I've talked about our team spending less time in the software and more time for other tasks. And again, the quality of our deliveries has gone up. Our errors per contract have gone down. It's because our team members are able to spend more time than ever, on the things that are important, the things that they actually need to pay detailed time and attention to. Overbooking and inventory management is better. I would say we had, maybe 1 out of 5 contracts with point of rental had an overbooking issue. And some of that was us and the poor inventory management, again, because of their inadequate system. And a lot of it was just things that their system literally can't do. Okay. It was designed so long ago, and there's just no way to, patch it together to get us where we need to go. And then of course, every 2 weeks, TapGoods releases sprints. So, new features are coming out all the time, and we're having to figure out, oh, this is another thing that we don't have to waste time on. Oh, this is automated for us now. That's great. And so I can't speak enough about how TapGoods is really digging in and using technology to make all of our lives easier. And we're living it. I'm enjoying my free time. I'll tell you that. I don't know 6 months ago if I would have had time in the middle of my day to hop online and do a webinar with people. But yet, in TapGoods, here I am. I have some free time in the middle of the day. It's pretty remarkable. So with that, I'm happy to answer anybody else's questions. I'd love to turn it back to Aaron, see what we got.
Yeah, Peter, thank you for that. Man, super motivating hearing you speak, and love hearing some of the successes you and the team at Party Pro Rents have experienced. As I look into the chats, one of the questions that came up, and I'll add just a little color to it, is you mentioned having half the staff. And I think a lot of people on this call would agree that hiring has been a challenge since the pandemic and post-pandemic. And like you said, you mentioned half the staff getting back to that revenue of 2019, which is friggin' awesome. But what are some of the workflows, I think, that have allowed you and the team to be more productive with less?
Sure. No, that's a great question. So for us, we're pretty separated in departments. We each have department heads, and then each department head has workers under them. And so really we wanted to create, and I'm so sorry, this is just a little backstory to answer that question, but we really feel like it's the most, that autonomy in each department is what allows us to be successful during times of busy seasons. We all have them, spring and fall. We just got out of October. It was a very wild time. But again, the software and the workflows, upper management can have their hands out of everybody's business even more. And it's because of that progress bar and all of the notes that can go in that progress bar. That's accessible to every single department that you want it to be. It's readable and it's editable by every department that you want it to be. So before, all of our departments would have to reach out to a person that we call, our DOO, Director of Operations, and they would coordinate all of this for us because POR didn't. And now we have our DOO doing actual operational, things and working on structures and different, ways to improve rather than just maintaining. So, through the workflows, through what TapGoods is able to provide for us on the back end, I really feel like every department now is innovating. They're actually making their processes better. And before, we were just so inundated with busy work that I feel like we were all just, trying to keep our heads above water. And every department was just, fighting with each other to, stay ahead. But now there's no fighting. Everybody really gets to just kind of make it what it needs to be.
Yeah, awesome. I love hearing that. A question from Ian, and it's kind of a couple parter, so I'll read the whole thing. And then if you need me to break it down, let me know. From starting to implementation, how long did the changeover from point of rental to TapGoods take you guys at Party Pro Rents? And then some context to it, just the scale is number of locations and number of employees y'all have at Party Rent Pro.
Oh, for sure. So we, back in 2019, we had a grand plan to do this hub and spoke model. I don't know if you guys know where Tulsa, Oklahoma is geographically. It's almost perfectly in the middle of the country. So we are 6 hours, or within 6 hours, to Memphis, St. Louis, Dallas, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, and all of Northwest Arkansas. So Little Rock, Fayetteville, Bentonville, and the Walmart headquarters. That's a really pretty big account for us. And so we wanted to open up remote stores and hub and spoke in all of those areas, with the main hub being in Tulsa. We've since pivoted, right? The pandemic has happened. I've negotiated an 80% off deal with UPS, so now we ship. And so, that's that's the multi-location. Before the pandemic in 2019, we were riding with about 80 to 90 team members. And that's just team members. That doesn't include upper management like myself. Now, during the height of the pandemic, we went all the way down to 17. I can't believe it. It was a stressful time. I was doing a lot of dishes at that point. It was fine. Everything's great. But now we're back up to around 34, 36. I think we hired one more this morning, so we might be at 37. No, and what we're finding again, it's just we're doing, and it's not like any of our work is suffering. There's just more time for everybody to have to do other tasks. I'm so sorry, what was the first part of the question?
Yeah, first part of it was just from signing on with TapGoods to being what I would say fully live with TapGoods. So that conversion time from point of rental to TapGoods.
Sure, that's a tough question for me to answer. We first started this transition during the middle of the pandemic. Actually, I think it was the start of the pandemic. So we had to get put on pause. I would say my total time was probably a month, but I will say that month was spread out over many months, just because the pandemic makes you work on other stuff. But yeah, I think if I would have had consistent time to just like nail it, get changed over, I'd say it's about a month time for our inventory. And I would say maybe 2 weeks to fully flesh out the website. Now, again, all in both of those timelines, that is, having to learn the interface as well as completing the tasks. So it's not like, man, I'm gonna have to take 2 months to learn this and then take, 4 more months to import the image. No. This is all learning the process and importing and getting everything completed.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. Another question in the queue is, obviously, most of the individuals on this call today are for-profit businesses. How has TapGoods helped you at Party Pro Rents kind of expedite that receiving payments from your customers?
Sure. Yeah. So let's go through this awesome point of rental process. So somebody comes in, starts an order for a wedding. They gets put into a quote. We have to email them the quote. This is with point of rental. They have to print out. Well, now that we pay more money, they can e-sign, and then they have to pay a deposit. Can they pay the deposit online or through our website? No. They have to submit and re-email in that contract that they signed. Then they have to pick up the phone, actually dial a number, talk on the phone to somebody, and then like manually say, well, my credit card number is 4 or 5, and give the 16 digits and the security code. I mean, seriously, are we paying for things in 95? Anyway. So with TapGoods, you can create an account. Your quote comes in, you can click on it all the way up in the website. And then if you've set it up, in your backend with your storefront, you can click through, you can sign, and you can pay right there. And again, this is all without needing to talk on the phone to a sales rep. So think about all the time your sales reps are saving. It's the whole thing's incredible.
Love that, Peter. Thanks for sharing. And I got a couple more questions in the queue. So if you have something out there that you think the rest of the group would benefit from, please fire those questions away in the chat feature. Peter, you spoke about onboarding and the switch and the simplicity of learning the system, but can you tell me a tad about the training process that you and the team went through with our support team to get onboarded here at TapGoods?
Definitely. So what we did, we elected to do live video training. And so what we did is we had our whole team, department by department, actually, sit in front of our awesome Morgan on your team. She's great. And we just literally, we recorded every session. So if anybody had any questions, they could go back through and watch that video. And, but really, I want to talk about it's the system. I can't say it enough. If you know how to use Amazon, you know how to use TapGoods. I mean, seriously. So for a lot of our staff, point of rental, there's so many buttons, and you have to know all the menus. And TapGoods is the UI and how it's designed. It looks like a website that you would use today. That we all use every day, right? And no one can go through to a day today in 2020, 2021, and not get on the internet, right? And so really the quickness and the training with my staff, it was all about how easy it is to use TapGoods. Buttons are where they're supposed to be. It all makes sense. If you change something over here, it automatically changes over there. You don't have to change it in 8 places. And so again, it's the simplicity that kind of drives the whole entire thing.
Yeah, love that. Last question that I have in the chat, Peter, is maybe you can walk us through, summarize the evaluation process prior to deciding TapGoods was the right solution for you.
Sure. So, again, all of the things that so we took the audit of where we were at. What is our website? What is our processes? What is our inventory management? And then without researching any companies at all, we just wrote down this is what I would want with the website. Here's all my wants with inventory. And from there, I went on a massive search. I found about 16 total. Now, some of them are really small companies, but a total of 16. We landed on a big 3. And we actually flew out and met a lot of companies in their home cities. It just, a lot of different companies had some of what we were looking for, and it would go, oh, great, we can do that, but we'll also need to bring in this other third party to satisfy our wants. And with TapGoods, there's no third parties. We don't have to, and you don't have to pay third parties. That's the biggest thing. Is that, all the things that we were looking for, it was included. And you know what, I'll even say this, there were, and Doug might kill me, there were 3 things that were not included, but they were added in sprints. So we now have them. I mean, ask POR to do that for you, it's absolutely incredible. So the fact that, again, new features come out every 2 weeks. You don't know how much your life is going to get easier in 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know. I'm excited for the next sprint. I want to read all the details, and, maybe I can be like, what, dish department, you don't even have to do that task anymore. Those are the things that I'm most excited about whenever we were choosing and deciding which one we were going to go with.
Yeah. Another question just came in to the chat is, for some of those businesses out there that aren't using a rental management system at all, what input or recommendation do you have for them?
Number 1, you're very brave. Number 2, again, if you're happy doing all of that busy work, or if you're happy paying somebody all that money to do the busy work, then I don't even want to talk you off that ledge. That's the solution for you, But again, if you're looking, and you're using this, I call this our downtime. We just got out of a busy season. So if I'm going to use this downtime until about February to improve my business, if I was, not using a system, I would really be looking at a way to automate a lot of this stuff. And again, how many TapGoods team members are even on this call? 1 million. You're going to get the help. You're going to have the help. They have so many people. It's incredible. Everything is made easier. And so again, if you really want to stay as the business owner and do all the busy work, I can't talk you off that ledge. That'll be up to you.
Awesome. We just had another one come in from Mr. or Mrs. K. Crosby. And great question. Have you had any difficulties with TapGoods? What were they? And were they resolved in a timely manner?
Yeah, actually, okay. So the way that we organize our tents in our backend infrastructure, essentially the best way I can describe it is it needed bundles and bundles. So we have like a wall kit, I guess you could say, and that kit is a bundle. We put it in a bundle. Okay, so before when we first onboarded with TapGoods, that was not live yet. That was not a feature. I like to say that it wasn't complaining, but I complained to Morgan about it. And seriously, 2 sprints later, bundles and bundles. And so, and again, in the meantime, in that 2 months, Morgan gave me, I think, 5 different workarounds for our issue until the sprint could get there. And so, we had options, and we did. And for those 2 months, we chose the best option. And personally, I chose the best option that we're going to set us up for bundles and bundles. And then, the feature got released, and then everything got solved. I think the biggest thing about me with support is communication. Communication is everything in this world. And in point of rental, communication looks like I'll call in, and if they don't know the answer, they'll give me a call back sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours. And for a lot of people, that might be acceptable. That's great if it is for you. But for me, when we see a problem, we really like to fix it. And so being able to instantly get 5 workarounds before the problem could be addressed, that told me everything that I would need to know about the future of support and TapGoods.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. Great job, Morgan and team, obviously. Without sharing the secret sauce, Peter, when you think of 2022 and beyond, how does TapGoods play a role in the growth of Party Pro Rents?
Sure. So being able to, and again, I'm a director of creative development on the marketing side. So this is going to be a lot of where my eggs go in these answers. But for me, being able to match the backend SEO in the actual item file, in every item in TapGoods, there's in the bottom left, there's a spot for AdWords, and then also a spot for your SEO copy. And so, if you're running a robust Google AdWords program like we are, a very targeted, very robust Google AdWords program, being able to have this is so many things. It's going to boost our quality score, so we're going to pay less money for Google Ads. It's going to, and in that quality score, it's going to make all of our pages more relevant. So anybody searching for items, or especially specific items, they're going to find more quality searches. And so, if somebody types in event bar rental, in Tulsa into Google, now it can actually be directed there without having to pay Google the extra money to connect the dots. TapGoods is connecting the dots for us on the back end. So knowing that, right, now that frees up a lot of money on my Google AdWords side to really push towards things that aren't working so hot. And so in off seasons, I can push, tents whenever it might be a pretty good temperature outside. And I might be able to formulate that copy a little differently and make more sales in our slower months. Another thing that I'll be able to do is we're going to be able to highlight our partnerships so much more. I don't know, I barely went over it, I'm so sorry, but in Get the Look, which is a feature that comes with TapGoods on every website, you can upload real events. And so I've uploaded a real wedding. It was real. I got the permission from the photographer. And what we're able to do is we're able to list every single vendor that was a part of that wedding on our website. And it's free publicity. It's making free friends. It's making, free business favors. Which one of your partners wouldn't love to see one of their beautiful events on your website? I mean, it does so much. It's almost like old school buying, gift baskets for people, except you don't actually have to buy a gift basket. And again, it's another way that TapGoods allows me to really, really build out and drive my marketing plan here, and with less money. And isn't that the goal for business, right? Do more with less.
Yes, absolutely, Peter. Hey, well, for everyone on the call, I just dropped my email into the chat. If you have any questions about how TapGoods could potentially help you, if we could partner on this, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I definitely want to thank you, Peter, first and foremost, for being a TapGoods customer. We love having you here and we appreciate your business. And I want to thank you for your time today, right? You volunteered to do this on your own accord. So thank you so much for that. And a huge congrats to you and the team, man, for doubling revenue with half the staff. So thank you so much, Peter. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we look forward to talking to you all soon. Have a great day, y'all.